So first of all, the name Feng Shui. Okay, so Feng, literally translated, Feng means wind, and Shui means water. Which, in theory, these are just two elements of nature, and they don't say much, right? It's like wind and water. Okay, so what we do with this? By the way, the presentation, Feng Shui, I'm Italian, so I'm adding an Italian accent to everything anyway. Also, there are several different dialects and intonation in the Chinese language. And so for us that are not Chinese born, it can be very difficult to get it right. So just get over it, and just do it wrong. So Feng Shui, as long as we know that it's Feng Shui, we understand each other. Native speaking, what would be the correct pronunciation, a more correct pronunciation? Do you know?
It's still Feng Shui.
Feng Shui, okay. All right, so it's close enough. Yes. It's close enough, okay. All right, so wind and water. This name comes from a sentence that was the very first time that it appeared in a text, in a written text. If you're familiar with historical and scientific knowledge, they always look for written proof. And writing only developed pretty much across the world only about 5,000 years ago. So they found this wind and water contained in one of the oldest books that we have about Feng Shui, which was not the Feng Shui that we use today or we're going to discuss today. It was Feng Shui for yin houses. Yin houses like the house of the deceased. There was an old branch of school of Feng Shui that had to do with burial site, mostly used for the emperors or for the higher classes to ensure that their descendant will live and prosper. And so the main concept behind wind and water, the sentence says that qi, and so we're going to come back because this is our building block of all of Feng Shui. Qi moves with the water, moves with the wind and stops when reaches water. This is I'm paraphrasing here, but it was literally just a sentence. So qi is the life force energy. It's the concept of life force energy. It's intriguing that in Chinese culture, it's possibly the most important root of all their scientific knowledge. Everything has to do with qi, Chinese medicine has to do with qi, building has to do with qi, even philosophy, they refer to aspects of qi and application of the different elements. But when it comes specifically to the house, we talk about moves with the wind because it's carried by the air. So as long as a house has a good ventilation, doors and windows, is well lit, it's well energized, so to speak, then we have good qi that is moving and flowing inside the house. This stops when it reaches the water edge, and this is because this is the reason why if you work as a designer with a lot of Asian clients, you know they always would like to have some form of water feature in the backyard, either a fountain or a pool, or often a koi pond, something that has to do with water, because the water captures the qi from the air. And by capturing the qi from the air, it energizes the water, and it energizes the property where the water sits, and so it energizes their lives as well. So that's where the concept of having a water feature comes from, because the water has this ability of capturing the chi. Contrary, when with the wind, if you have, for example, in a house, just a practical example, if you have doors and windows or doors and doors that are aligned, then they will create a wind draft, and that wind draft will cause the chi, will cause the air to move too fast, pushing the chi out, as opposed to allow it to flow gently in within a room. So that's the reason why, in many books you might read not to have the doors aligned or the door aligned with the window. That's for that reason. So these are some of the basic idea. Now the concept of chi for the building, chi exists in nature. It's part of nature. Comes with the fact that we are on this planet. But where does it actually come from? Where it really started, we really don't know. But the basic concept behind everything is something called the three powers. The three powers. And these are the three powers, very simple. Okay, this is the surface of the earth. We have the first power, which is the chi from the heavens, or not heavens like paradise, more like heavens like cosmos. So this is cosmos chi, okay, heavens chi. Scientifically speaking, that's not how they explain it, but scientifically speaking, the electromagnetism that comes from the sun hits the core of our planet, and it has an electromagnetic response, geomagnetic response on the surface. Pretty much the magnetic field of the earth changes according with the input that it gets from the energy of the sun. That's why we have life here, in a nutshell. So we have a geomagnetic response from the earth, which is called earth chi. And then, so this one is the first power, this is the second power, and in between we got trees, we got animals. At one point I was in art school, but nobody remembers that, so we're not going to tell them. And then we got, well, us. So we are in between, and pretty much our body is constantly exposed to this energy from the cosmos and the energy from the earth. If you have used acupuncture before, you probably are familiar with the idea of channels and acupuncture point, and those are pretty much the entering point of this energy in our body. And this is what we manage the human chi through the acupuncture point and the channels. We don't cover that much about Chinese medicine yet. But this energy has effects on not just the physical body, has effects on the emotional component, the psychological component. It affects our sleep, it affects our willpower, it affects everything that we do in life. That's why, always being in touch with nature, being exposed to natural elements, they're very energizing, they have good chi, they're very energizing, makes us feel better. I love this room because we have a big window. From Feng Shui standpoint, maybe it's too much window, but it's still a good room, I think. Imagine people that work in 9-to-5 jobs, or maybe this day and age 7-to-7 jobs, and they work in offices where they don't have any window, or maybe they work in cubicle or workstation, they don't have any window at all. After a while, our natural rhythm, our body rhythm, which we in the West we call the circadian rhythm, gets disrupted. And that is because we lose that connection with the outside natural world. And so the best thing to reconnect with this is to go out and take a walk in the park, or go out and take a walk by the beach. Here we are in Southern California, so we're pretty lucky. Even the weather, when it's bad, is is still pretty good, and that re-energizes us, especially if we walk close to the water, because the water, remember, captured the chi. And so when we walk in proximity of the water, we are energized even more. Just give it a try, you know. One day when it seems like everything is falling apart and you're really tired, just go take a walk by the beach, give it an hour. I promise you will feel like your life has been made over. So this is the kick that we get from nature. And so what happened when we build a house or we build a building, we drop our foundation into the ground, we connect with the earth energy, and remember, this chi is constantly radiating down and radiating up. And so when we build a house, let me use the red one, so we plump it into the ground, we build it up, and then we capture it inside. And once we put the roof on, between the building of the physical structure and the fact that we put the roof on it, that energy is sealed inside in that particular configuration. And so on the outside, the energy constantly changes. It changes due to time, because these are the sun cycles, and it changes due to the orientation of the building. The orientation is maybe not that much. It will change when you build the building. This is more fixed. Everything on the earth is more fixed. But the element of time constantly changes. And so there will be changes that occurred outside, but the energy that you have inside, that you sealed inside, the imprint that you've sealed inside, remain the same as long as the building stands. So just to give you an idea, we might have, when we do an analysis of the building and we calculate this energy, we look at various things. We look at the date that the building was constructed. We look at construction. We look at the orientation. And to look at the orientation, we usually use one of those tools. These are Chinese compasses. These are pretty expensive. So we're going to do an exercise where you will need to use a compass, but I will direct you to a smaller compass, more affordable for your exercise. So if you want to pass it around, one of them is all in Chinese and the other one is in English. The English one are becoming very hard to find lately. So we use the date of construction, we use the orientation, and then we also use the date of birth of the people. Of the occupants, because this determines the occupant's personal energy. And then we look at the design of the building. And so all of these together determine our choice of a design feature and colors and materials. So if you are a designer, or even if you're not a designer, this is actually the way you apply it. In the end, you apply it through design, colors, and materials, but before you get to that point, you kind of have to go through this. So this is the extensive version of this we teach in our 2-year program and in our 12-week classes as well. Today we're going to have a little bit of a taste of each of them. some of you have already taken classes with me, so they're more or less familiar with what we talk, so it might be easier for you. For those of you that are new, it might feel like I'm jumping from one thing to the other. My apologies, I'll try to be as clear as possibly can. Okay, so we have established that we got these 3 powers, 1, 2, and 3. And so why is that important for us? Is that when our person walks into his home, gets inside the home, this obviously is not to scale, because buildings are so much bigger than ours that the energy that is in the building affects us and affects our family, affects our pets even, believe it or not. It affects our plant. I noticed, it took me a while to figure it out, but it does affect our plant in the same way. If you put the plants in an area that is not that good, they suffer. If you put them in an area that is very good, they thrive. And so the purpose of Feng Shui, which is misunderstood in some design book, is not to create at least the most beautiful, highly photographable house, is that to turn the energy of the building, turn it around to support the occupant. And we do that through the design, the colors, and the material, because the material particularly because of the electromagnetic quality, that the material have. Pretty much the energy quality, the chi quality that this material has. And so we're gonna address some of those things today. Do you have a question?
I just wanted to know what is the center called, like the human, like people and animals, in terms of the 3 powers?
Yes. Yes. It's called people chi. People's chi. However, actually, people's chi. Thank you for reminding me. I was forgetting about it. People chi actually refer to the actual people. Does not refer to the building. When we talk about the buildings, we talk about earth chi, because anything that is attached to the earth is in a mother-child relationship with the earth. Literally, we are beings of the earth. We are the child of the earth. And so the building, because it's attached to the ground, is actually part of the physical earth. Feng Shui, when it has to do with building, has to do with earth energy. Then there is a part of Feng Shui that has to do with time selections and selection of dates for various things, and that has to do more with the heavens chi. But what we're talking about today is strictly to do with the earth chi. When we talk about people chi, some people refer to people chi like, what happened in their body and their well-being, and they say maybe Chinese medicine is part of people chi. Maybe not. What I notice, something that definitely has to do with people chi is like collective consciousness, group consciousness. So people that belong to a group and they have similar ideal and similar goals, then usually they have they create a bubble of people chi. Like that could be somebody in an organized religion. There could be people that maybe are in the same type of professional job or professional organization. They have similar mentality, similar background, similar values, similar vision to life. That is what constitutes people chi most of the time. So we don't really deal too much with people chi. We mostly deal with the earth chi, specifically earth chi and cosmos chi, especially in the effects that the cosmos has on the earth, because then the earth has effects on us. So just to give you an idea, I'm going to start right away. I'm going to start from the end of it instead of the beginning.